नमस्ते गुरुजी। जय गुरुजी महाराज। जय गुरुजी सत्संगत जी। शुक्राना गुरुजी महाराज द मल्टीलिंगुअल सेवादार टीम आप सबका स्वागत करती है। आज एक बार फिर हम सब धन्य हैं। डिवाइन ग्रंथ लाइट और डिविनिटी से एक सत्संग सुनेंगे। आज का सत्संग श्री मुनीत जाखड़ अंकल जी ने लिखा था, जो कि आज संगत शेयरिंग के लिए उपलब्ध हैं। उन्होंने मीटिंग ज्वाइन की हुई है और आज का सेशन पुनीत बजाज अंकल इनिशिएट करेंगे। मैं गुरु परिवार की तरफ से, गुरु महाराज की तरफ से आप दोनों का स्वागत करता हूं और मैं पुनीत अंकल से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा प्लीज सेशन को इनिशिएट कराएं। जय गुरु जी।
जय गुरु जी। जय गुरु जी महाराज। बड़े भागों वाला दिन होता है जब हम गुरु जी की गाथाओं को गाते हैं, सुनते हैं, उनके सत्संग सुनते हैं, क्योंकि गुरु जी कहते थे कि मेरा सत्संग सुनाने वाले का भी कल्याण है और सुनने वाले का भी कल्याण है। और मुनीत अंकल को मैं कई बार सुन चुका हूँ और उनका सत्संग मैं पढ़ भी चुका हूँ, तो वी आर वेरी फॉर्चुनेट ही इज़ विद अस। गुरु जी उनका हमेशा कल्याण करते हैं और करते रहेंगे। और वो जो भी हमें सत्संग सुनाएंगे, अपनी जर्नी जो भी शेयर करेंगे, उससे हम सबको जिसे कहते हैं ना, हमारी गुरु जी के प्रति प्यार श्रद्धा और बढ़ता है सत्संग सुनने से। गुरु जी यही चाहते थे, 1-to-1 मीडियम, एंड दिस इज द बेस्ट थिंग वासंग अंकल आप कर रहे हैं। जय गुरु जी महाराज। मैं मुनीत अंकल से रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ आप अपना सत्संग शेयर करिए अंकल। जय गुरु जी।
जय गुरु जी। साਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੇਰੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ। This I firstly am very thankful ਵਾਸਨ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਓਪਰਚੁਨਿਟੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਇਹ ਸਤਸੰਗ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਮੁਹਿੰਮ ਚਲਾਈ ਹੈ, ਜੋ ਵੀ ਮੁਹਿੰਮ ਚਲਾਈ ਹੈ। I'm thankful for that. And firstly, this wouldn't have been possible without Guruji himself. तो जिन्नी देर तक गुरु जी ने इन्ने जनिया का कल्याण ना किया होंदा, इन्ना कुछ किया ना होंदा, ये चीज भी नहीं हो रही होंदी। So I am thankful to Guru Ji for everything, his divine blessings that has been upon me and my family and everybody else. So the satsang is from his divine book, The Light of Divinity itself. Now, I will start. Before that, I will narrate a series of events of how it unfolded and what led to what I wrote. And then I will speak a little bit, then I'll talk from the Light of Divinity itself. I will speak in English, Hindi and Punjabi, so I'll try to make sure everybody understands. Sarah, easy way. So the thing is, we were associated with Guruji for since his endeavor in Jalandhar. So my Nankas are based out of Jalandhar, which is how I got to connect with them, and belonging to a decent family in Jalandhar, we got connected to Guruji and we got his blessings. Over a period of time after my education, I moved on to Delhi, where I did my MBA from, and then I was working with a real estate firm, a multinational company. And while doing so, I was living alone. And yes, I was single. And, being at that young age, I was driven into enjoying my drinks. So I would enjoy my drinks and I would have a company of my friends and, really relish drinking. So one day my mother had gone to visit Guruji in the mandir in Delhi. ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਪਣਾ ਛੋਟਾ ਮੰਦਿਰ ਹੈਗਾ ਤੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਗਏ ਸੀਗੇ on MG Road. And then when during that time Guruji told my mother ke please get your son, it is important. Now we, as normal people, do not understand what he looks at and what he sees. So on my mother's request, I went there. And then I was there, and then he told me that I was facing some problems with my liver, and my SGPT and SGOT was beyond the roof, and it was irreparable. I mean, so when you're young, you don't really understand much. The meaning of life. So the meaning of life is actually just living it. You don't really live for, you live for yourself. You don't really live for everybody around at that age. So what happened was, I would go to Guruji out there. I would go from a different way after work. My mother would reach there earlier, so she would be in a different vehicle. So we would reach there separately. ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਜਦ ਪਹੁੰਚਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਤੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਆਪਣਾ ਸਤਸੰਗ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਤੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਪਾਵਰ ਇੰਨੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਨਾ when we were sitting there we could not even stare at him. I mean you can say it was so tremendous, the power. I mean, the vibrations you got while you could just sit there, you could just get those vibrations were huge. Well, it was phenomenal. I mean, I would try to look up into his eyes, but I could not. Like my head would just vibrate like this, and I would look up, and then I just say, "Yeah, just forget it. There's no point looking up." So that is the amount of I don't know. He was healing you at that point or whatever. I don't know. But then I'll continue with the entire thing. What happened through the book? But when I did all that, he told me to write it down. Then I said, whatever the experience was, he told me to write it down. I said, okay. I wrote it down and I gave it to him, and he said, nah, there to likh ke le. मैं तो सारा कुछ लिखता, whatever he said, and I was surprised. कहते ना, फिर तो लिख के ले. मैं 2 बार ही लिख के गया, फिर तो वापस भेज. Now I will tell you all that in this book, what has happened. So I will start with the satsang. The interesting aspect, what I wanted to tell you during this period is that every time I went to the satsang, there was something unique that happened. And I will tell you what the uniqueness was and what I would continue to do, which will keep you excited. So I will start with the satsang first. So on page number 266, it says alcoholism spirited away. As a child, wherever I used to go to Jalandhar with my family, we used to stay at a maternal grandparents' place. They would visit Guruji, and during one such visit, I met Guruji with my family. When we entered his mandir, we could smell perfume all over as if someone had sprayed the room with scent. We would sit down and watch as people poured in to get Guruji's blessings. Later, he would bless water glasses with his mala and we would drink it. The water would have a distinct aroma. Even as children, we would sit in one place without fidgeting and did not even realize how time flew by. My dad does not believe in anyone beyond God himself. He told mom and me to avoid going to Guruji, stating that he did not like it. We stopped going. For around 8 years, we did not approach Guruji. But my aunt, my cousin sisters were regular visitors. Guruji would tell them to ask us to meet him. Then Guruji shifted base to Delhi. In 2003, I also shifted to Delhi to do my MBA. I took to drinking as I used to live alone and enjoyed having alcohol. I went through a liver function test on my parents' instance. I had taken the test earlier and it had shown bad signs, but I had ignored the results. According to the test results, a normal person should have a total of 40 IUL international units per liter. I had 347 units. It was clear that I did not stop drinking. I would have fatty liver cirrhosis. My mother was staying with me as we were planning to shift our residence from Vasant Kunj to Dwarka, and she had come to set up the new place for me. My mother, a religious person, went regularly to Guruji to seek his blessings for my health. Then one day, Guruji told her that her child was suffering and asked me to come. I did so. My father was not aware about it. I used to reach Guruji's place directly from work in the evening, have tea and langar at his place, and then return home. A couple of people talked about how Guruji had helped them and taken away the sufferings. There are people who had been cured among a host of things, of cancer, heart problems, monetary problems, and now they were happy. Guruji asked Mom to come for 10 days continuously, and I had asked her to get a copper tumbler, which he blessed, and I drank from it. I would sit at Guruji's at only one thing in my mind, his blessings. During this time, I consulted a doctor referred to me by a friend, being treated for the same problem and taking the same medicines. For more than 4 months, he had been taking these medicines and the results had still not normalized. As for me, one day Guruji just told Mom she need not worry about her child as he was cured. He also asked me to get the test done again. To my surprise, I found my result totaling 40 IUL, international units per liter, which is normal. I could not understand the miracle. I went to Guruji to thank him for his blessings. Guruji only asked me whether I got my test done. And I said yes. And he said, "Theek hai na, ja ash kar. The tests are all right. Be careful." At that, my mom and I touched his feet, and my heart said thanks. Now, during this time, I wanted to tell you what I was telling you in the early period is when I would go to the satsang, my mom would go differently, I would go differently. On the way back, I would drink, even after the satsang. But first, let me tell you my experience. Once I would had the langar and I would come out, the amount of pressure of urine I felt was insane. It would be as if somebody, like there's something that's just loosened up in me. And the water would just flow out like anything and in huge amounts. So he had
अंकल आपकी वॉइस नहीं आ रही.
I think somebody had put in the pause for audio. So, Acha, I was telling you, I'll repeat it again. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, now I'll repeat the same thing again. Now, when we had gone for langar, जब सारे कहते हैं प्रसाद उथे लंगर प्रसाद हैगा at that place. But if you take it out, it's not prasad. But when I would have prasad at Guruji's, I would have langar, and at that time, the amount of pressure I would feel in my urine was insane. So I would go out and just urinate so much that it would cleanse my entire body. I don't know what it was, how it was. Guruji would help us, but he did it. And you would not believe it. After that, I would go back on my way home, I would still drink. I told you I had enjoyed my drinks. But then Guruji still, even on me continuously drinking, he cured me. which is phenomenal. मतलब कोई बंदा कहता कि तुझे छाड़ दो फिर जाके ठीक होंगे हैं. I would go to the satsang, have prasad, have langar, and then I mean I would drink also, and then still be okay. And then afterwards my results were fine. But now it's been quite a while. I'm a teetotaler. I don't drink, and that's his blessings. I thank Guruji for this, for showing me the path. Now, I had told you earlier that, Guruji had told me that you get it written, लिख के लेके आ अपना एक्सपीरियंस. मैं कहा ठीक है जी गुरुजी, मैं लिख के लेके आया. मैं लिख के लेके आया तो गुरुजी ने मेनू वापस भेजता. Then I would write it down again. I would do the editing, whatever is required. I would do it again and again. 2 बारी फिर भेजता. मैनू समझ नहीं आवे यार मैनू गुरुजी वापस क्यों भेज रहे हैं. Then he had me to write another satsang for my grandmother. जो मेरे maternal grandmother का satsang थी, he had to convey that also through me. So that is also in the next line, in the same chapter as mine, which I will read further now. My grandmother survives a heart problem. The same night, my mother and my grandmother told me another miracle that had happened 10 years ago. This is after my instance. My grandmother had suffered 3 heart attacks and the doctors refused to help her, further saying she would not survive. My mother and her brother had gone to Guruji for help in the middle of the night. He told them to get betel leaves and then prayed in the room next to where my grandmother was lying. The betel leaves were put on my grandmother's chest. 10 minutes later, my grandmother started urinating. A positive sign, after which the doctors rushed her to the hospital in Ludhiana for a bypass. Without Guruji, my grandmother would not have been alive today. Some things cannot be explained, but they do happen. You cannot understand and acknowledge them. Since my cure, my faith in Guruji has doubled, and I wish his blessings are always there with me and my family. This is what I have written. So this is my satsang in the light of divinity. But besides this, I would like to tell you, his presence, he is omnipresent. And he could judge the character of a person not only by looking at his picture, but looking at him or looking at anybody. There would be people, who would come to meet him, but he would not acknowledge the fact that he would not meet them. I don't know, there was something probably he saw in them that was not worthy of his blessings. But then there were people who waited 2 months for that. And then when Guruji would say, okay, and then he would do Kalyan. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਮਹਾਨਤਾ ਅਜੀਬ ਮਤਲਬ ਕਿ ਇੰਨੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਸੀਗੀ. we failed to understand because ਉਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੇ ਮਹਾਂਪੁਰਸ਼ ਸੀ. And Guruji himself is the divine light who has guided so many people out of their misery, with his blessings. We could understand, like I'm telling you, ਸਾਡੇ ਰੋਂਗਟੇ ਖੜੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ blessings then. His powers were so strong. His vibrations were so wonderful. I mean, this is what I have to say. I mean, besides this, there are so many other satsangs. But as I was requested that we have to stick to the divine of the light of divinity. So I will stick to the same. And Puneet ji, if you have anything else you would like me to talk about, we can do so.
अंकल अंकल आप अपना जो भी सत्संग आपके साथ गुरुजी के साथ हुआ है वो और भी शेयर कर सकते हो।
एक इंसिडेंट हुआ था एक मेरे मदर का भी, वो भी मैं बताता हूँ। My mother had I mean, this is when this is post Guruji's when जब गुरुजी अपना चोला छाड़ के चले गए सी। So this is what certifies that his presence is still there. You know, like he is still strongly present in the Bada Mandir and everywhere. So firstly, for anybody, I see a lot of people नवी होवे पुरानी संगत नवी संगत जे कई बारी लोकी कहंदे इजी है कि obviously ਜਾਂ क्योंकि you know their faith for old sangat sometimes you know it would be he's sitting there and you could talk to him and he get a reply. But now that's not there. So it becomes very difficult now how to relate because the faith was in front of you and directly. And now for the new Sangha, the faith is within. So I would request the old Sangat also to put the faith within as done by the new Sangat. But what makes you seek his blessings or get his blessings is by being the right human being. You have to be the right human. You have to be a good human being to seek his blessings. So similarly, being good human beings, we try to do the best. And somehow during this time, my mother got unwell and she had cancer. So we had an issue that somehow over a period of time, which she had gone through a number of tests and gone through and cured everything. Then the doctor said, probably the cancer has come back. So this is after Guruji left his chola. Then we decided we would go to, Guruji's Bada Manira and seek his blessings. And then see whether whatever the results Guruji wants to share, we will see that way. So when we went there to Bada Mandir, we seeked his blessings. My mother seeked his blessings, and so did everybody else. And then we later went there, and then we checked up with the results, and then the results said there was no cancer. So we thanked him again. ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਹੀ ਠੀਕ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ, ਹੁਣ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕਰਕੇ ਹੀ ਫੇਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਕਰ ਹੋਇਆ. So which was a big thing for my mother again. You know, that faith has always kept us going. You know, when a doctor puts you and tells you, okay, probably, things happened. And, this is the only one line I can assure you that, Dr. Puneet is here. There are logical people who are practical people who are doctors, who are professionals, who believe in him, because of his, wonderful blessings he has given to everybody. So, that is why the belief in him has always grown stronger. And there are scientists, there are professionals, there are doctors who agree. ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਦਵਾ ਦੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਦੁਆ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਦੁਆ ਵਾਕਈ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਨਾ। ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੁਆ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਤਾਂ ਵਾਕਈ God is there, but you have to, there's no other way of believing in him. There's no one who can connect you. It's just you have to get a direct connection with him, and that is through good deeds and being a good person, being a good human being, which is what helps. I think that would be good enough, Vidaji.
जय गुरु जी। आपका सत्संग इट्स वेरी अमेजिंग एंड वेरी एजुकेटिव ऑल्सो। एक दो चीजें हैं जो मैं जस्ट संगत के लिए हेल्पफुल होंगी। जैसे आपने बताया alcoholism spirited away, you were a regular drinker, और गुरुजी ने उसके बावजूद आपको ठीक किया। तो ये एक अपने आप में ही बहुत बड़ी बात है, क्योंकि ये प्रूव करता है कि गुरुजी हमारे माँ बाप हैं। क्योंकि बच्चा कैसा भी हो, सिर्फ दुनिया में दो ही शख्स हैं, माँ और बाप, जो अपने बच्चे को एक्सेप्ट करते हैं। ना कोई रिलेटिव ना कुछ, हर कोई कमी निकालता है, बट माँ बाप अपने बच्चे को हमेशा प्यार करते हैं। और अब है गुरुजी जो हमारे माँ बाप हैं, जिन्होंने आपकी इस कमी के बावजूद, आपकी इस हैबिट के बावजूद आपको गले लगाया, और आपको कुछ डांटा नहीं कि आप गलत कर रहे हो, क्या कर रहे हो, आपको ठीक किया, और अब आप टी टोटलर हो। बस मैं थोड़ा सा ये इंक्विजिटिव कह लूं कि आपके मन में ऐसा क्या आया कि आप जबकि ठीक हो गए थे कि मैं इस चीज को छोड़ देता हूँ और अब मैं टी टोटलर बन जाता हूँ। तो ये चेंजेस का कोई गुरुजी का सपना आया, ड्रीम आई, या गुरुजी से कनेक्ट, ये कैसे हुआ?
I'll tell you, मेरे हिसाब से ना हर एक का ना कोटा बना होता है। I'll try to put it in. तो किसी ने ड्रम पीना है, किसी ने पौवा पीना है, किसी ने बोतल पीनी है, या किसी ने पूरी टैंकी पीनी है, या कुछ है। और ये पूरे लाइफ स्पैन का सिस्टम है। तो किसी ने थोड़ा थोड़ा पूरी उम्र में पीना है, किसी ने वही पूरा अब पहले ही पी लेना है। तो वो कोटा डिफाइंड है, डिफाइंड इन द सेंस, यस, ऑब्वियसली इट इज written in the sense that yes, you have to write your own destiny. So how you do it is, yes, once you get into spiritualism, you do find support. It is very difficult for addicts, I would say. Yes, I would, I mean, I don't know. Yes, I would. I enjoyed my drink. See, the thing was, everybody should know how to do what they do. So I would enjoy
यस,
my drinks, but I would carry it very well. I would carry it in the right manner. I would never misbehave or anything. But the thing is, मुझे ना, अब सिंपल टर्म्स में बोलो, मुझे चढ़ती नहीं थी। अब मैं एक बोतल पी जाती, चढ़ती नहीं, आदी हो गया था, है ना। सो दैट वाज नॉट राइट। सो होना क्या चाहिए कि यू कैन नॉट हैव सो मच, एंड बिकॉज chutney nahi hai, you're getting used to it. But when you're
या,
getting used to it, but the thing is, you are getting used to it, your body's got used to it, but your liver is not used to it. So
या,
at point of time. So what happened is, at one point of time, God came into the picture. He
या,
helped me. He gave me a pancreatic problem. So I got a pancreatic problem. When I got a pancreatic problem, pancreatic is you cannot drink anymore. If you drink anymore, you might, I mean, you might have a sip. It could be fatal. Or if you have anything more than one or two drinks, it could be fatal. Or probably you could have it's like same scenario. So, but then what came into my mind was family. When I was alone, when I was single,
यस,
I mean, I was not so, I was just independent. I just wanted to be myself alone and everything. I mean, even if your parents are there, you still want to be alone.
यस,
You're young. You just want to be left alone, and you want to do your things. You
यस,
want to hang out everywhere. You want to be just doing your stuff. So what happens is, when you get family, you're concerned about your children then. Who's going to
या,
look after them? Who's going to look after your wife? Who's going to, that becomes an issue. So now you are a father and a mother, even though your father is the blessed Guruji, but you still have to care for them. So
यस,
those are the important things that helped me. Yes, my wife did too, and yes, and obviously God put in a little bit of help by getting me a pancreatic attack, I would tell you, and I would thank him for that.
गुरुजी
And
कहते थे ना, मैं कोई प्रॉब्लम दे रहा हूँ तो उसका भी एक मतलब है।
हाँ
छोटी
हाँ हाँ हाँ,
छोटी
तो
प्रॉब्लम
हर
दे
एक
के
चीज
बड़ी को
हर
हटा
एक
देता
चीज
हूँ।
हाँ, हर एक चीज का कोई रीजन टू इट. सो आई टेक एवरीथिंग इन अ पॉजिटिव मैनर, तो वो अच्छे के लिए होता है, जो होता है अच्छे के लिए होता है, पर बेशक
बहुत
बुरा भी होता है। वो भी उसके पीछे भी कोई ना बहुत बड़ा नुकसान रुक गया। अगर छोटा नुकसान भी हुआ, मतलब नुकसान हुआ
बिल्कुल
है, तो उसके पीछे बहुत बड़ा नुकसान हो सकता था,
बिल्कुल।
वो नुकसान बच गए। दैट्स द थिंग।
बहुत अच्छा सत्संग था अंकल। और जो आपके दिल से आप जिस तरह सत्संग करते हो, जो ऑनेस्टी झलकती है, आई थिंक यही ट्रू सत्संग होता है। कि जब हम जो हमारे साथ हुआ है वो बता दें, कुछ इसमें ऐड ना करें, कुछ सब्ट्रैक्ट ना करें। क्योंकि सत्संग का मतलब तो वही है कि जो हमारे साथ हुआ है। गुरु जी भी देखो एम्पायर स्टेट में, मुझे याद है जब हम कई बार गुरु जी कहते थे और सुना, और शॉर्ट भी सुनाई, और भी सुना, और भी सुना। और जो हुआ है हम गुरु जी के आगे बता देते थे। हमें इतना डर था कि हम, यही चीज मेरे को आपकी अच्छी लगती है कि जो आपके साथ हुआ है यू आर जस्ट वेरी वेरी ट्रू अबाउट इट। और इसीलिए गुरु जी की मेहर आप पे है। क्योंकि अगर हम सत्संग एग्जैक्टली सत्संग की तरह करें तो गुरु जी हमारा कल्याण जरूर करेंगे। बस मैं इतना ही कहना चाहता हूँ। गुरु जी ब्लेस करें हम सबको। थैंक यू अंकल। जय गुरु जी।
जय गुरु जी महाराज। बहुत ही ब्लिसफुल डिवाइन संगत शेयरिंग की है आपने जाखर अंकल। महाराज की कृपा से आप बहुत स्वस्थ हैं और कृपा बनी रहेगी। आप सब स्वस्थ बने रहेंगे। थैंक्स अ लॉट बजाज अंकल फॉर योर मेडिटेशन। आपने बहुत अच्छे तरीके से सेशन को संभाला है। किसी कारणवश शायद आपने वीडियो नहीं खोली है, वो
नहीं, मैंने
वीडियो।
खोल दी।
हाँ, महाराज के संगत के मेरे को मैसेजेस आ रहे थे कि अंकल ने वीडियो नहीं खोली। मैं कोई बात नहीं है, हो सकता है महाराज की आज्ञा हो। इसी बहाने आपको दर्शन हो गए। जय गुरु जी।
जय गुरु जी।
गुरु महाराज की कृपा से, गुरु बाबा की कृपा से आप दोनों का बहुत बहुत आशीर्वाद। बहुत अच्छा लगा परिवार को। थैंक्स अ लॉट जाखर अंकल वंस अगेन। बजाज अंकल थैंक्स। अभी
गुरु जी की कृपा है।
जी, अभी हम तो गुरु महाराज से आज्ञा लेंगे।
जय